You guys, the first storyteller coming up to the stage is Ruby Cooper. Come on up, Ruby. Let's give Ruby a loud round of applause.
Okay, thank you. All right. So the story happened when I was about 5. And long time ago, but I remember it clearly. I was playing jacks on the sidewalk in front of my grandpa's Irish bar. I was just, practicing playing jacks, and all of a sudden this old pickup truck that belonged to Mr. Geary, was a guy who lived behind the house next door in the back of the alley. He drove around the corner and started into the alley, and the pickup truck was filled to just full. The whole bed of the truck was full of crates of these white chickens, just jammed into these crates, and their red combs and terrified wild eyes were sticking out through the crate slats. And I thought, and I was curious, and so I followed the truck alongside the alley, down the alley, and kept to the side, against my building, and got to the end, just like one long building, and I saw this scaffolding, and I knew what that was because I'd seen it on television when they hung men in cowboy movies and stuff, and so it was a crude scaffolding with ropes hanging down, and I said, "What you doing, Mr. Geary?" And he said, "Killing chickens." I said, "How come?" And he said, "To eat. What else? Somebody's got to do it." I said, "Oh." I really never thought about what I was eating, that things died to be on my plate. And it never occurred to me. I didn't live on a farm or anything. My mom just served me. And so I stood there. I stood there, and while Mr. Geary pulled chicken after chicken out, and he would take them by the feet, and he would wrap their legs together, their feet together, tie them, pull them tight, and hang them on these dangling ropes. And the chickens were like frantically screeching and screaming and flapping, and then when he was finished with all those ropes, this truck still full of chickens, he took out a penknife from his pocket, and I watched in total horror while he jammed the knife right through the chicken's head, and the blood just blurted out, and I just stood there riveted to this spot, and I realized that, and it seemed to me that the chickens were flapping around like the carnival swing, like this, and spewing blood, and I stood there, and all of a sudden my mother goes, "Oh my God! What the hell are you doing? Watching Mr. Geary kill chickens? Are you crazy? Don't you have any sense? Oh my God, you are covered in blood. I am going to be sick." And I realized, I think in hindsight, that my trauma is now all about my mother. And she grabbed me and forcefully and jerked me out of there and yelled at me the whole time. For Christ's sakes, I thought I had taught you better than this. Who would stand around and watch a guy kill chickens, for God's sakes? I thought you were smart. And as it dragged me all the way up the stairs and into the house, we lived above the bar, and in the bathroom was this great big claw-footed tub. And she pulled off my sundress, which was, I still have a picture of me in this dress. And she always pointed out, "That's the dress you nearly messed up." It was a pale little yellow sundress. And I remember it, she said, "Oh, it has just like these polka dots of sticky blood all over it." And so she pulled that off me and put it in a bowl and threw me in the tub and pushed me under the spigot and started scrubbing me with hot water and soap, and it seemed like rough and so rough that I had these pink splotches all over me. And then when I was clean, I watched the pink water go down the drain, and then she pulled me out of the tub and sat me on a stool next to this white enamel pan that was full of pink water. I'm still not very fond of the color pink. and then that passed, and that night it was dinner time, and she put the food on the plate, and I said, "Is this chicken?" And she said, "Oh, for God's sakes, not everything is going to be chicken." And I said, "Okay, I just need to know if it's chicken, because I'm not eating chicken. In fact, you need to tell me if things have been alive before I eat them." And that's when I became a vegetarian. I was age 5. Thank you very much.